to Still a Hot Mess, where we ask the question, is self-help helping? Every episode we discuss, debate, and often diss an aspect of the self-improvement movement.
Drawing from our own experiences and talking with personal growth experts, we want to know, is it all too much? Has it gone too far? Is it making us even more neurotic? Is this self-help or self-help?
You make a mess of me. You make a mess. You make a mess of me.
All right, well, here we are. We're on the air.
Yeah, we live.
Live, yeah. So in our first episode,
Yes.
we spoke very briefly about the history of self-help. But today, we're doing a deeper dive into this history and discussing the different areas or eras of the self-improvement movement.
Yeah, and then we're also going to talk about what's going on in self-improvement and self-help right now here in 2020.
Bam.
Because it has changed quite a bit.
And if you're into self-help at all, you know it's best to be present.
Yes, Fanson.
Right.
Very good point. Okay, so let's begin at the beginning. Yes.
So
okay.
saith the scripture.
Okay, so once life became more than chasing beasts and running away from bigger beasts.
Ooh. Okay, but like we were also conquering beasts. Let's not be all like, oh, we've been the victims all along. You know, because if we don't have a firm grasp on sapiens and our behavior to begin with, then we're not really being truthful about why we need all the self-help in the first place.
Okay, all right, Fanson, that's a very good point.
Okay.
All right, but like basically once survival, wasn't the major focus, and
like primal survival.
Primal survival. Once that, was somewhat conquered, you weren't just, focused on safety all the time.
Right.
Well, things got complicated.
Sure.
Once our human species became a little more secure.
Yes.
Well, we began thinking about how best to live our lives.
Thus begins the Who Am I and How the Heck Did I Get Here episode of Human History.
Dun, da, da, da.
Da.
Pew, 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 pew. I don't know why I just did that. So I think it's it's debatable as to how it really, really, really started. But I think
we'll figure it out.
We're going to figure it out together. But I think the philosophers, that was that philosophers such as Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato, that was what, 500 BC?
Okay, but unless we want to date back to like 2800 BC.
Oh, okay.
The sabate, I believe, is the pronunciation of that, meaning teaching. So there was a letter of advice from father to son. And it was all about like best behaviors. And in fact, ancient Greek texts offered meditations and maxims on the best way to live. So basically, the ancient Greeks were all about living your best life, or like living the dream, baby.
Yeah, I think that really is the beginning. Is with the classical whatever ancient Greek philosophers.
We've always told stories through pictures and whatnot, but the advice of how to live your life. I mean, who knows how far back that would date, but like the earliest I could find is 2800. But then going back to your 500 BC, like Aristotle, he believed that reading was healing, which is interesting because that's called bibliotherapy, which is still used. It's been used throughout the millennia.
Well, I mean, isn't that sometimes what it's all about now? You just pick up that self-help book and it's like, I feel better now. So now we've got a name for it, Fanson. Bibliotherapy.
Bibliotherapy. And it's just the act of reading, but it's also the relating to what you're reading. Apparently we relate like we're having the experience also. So it's used in therapy. And when it comes to like self-help, it's like life hurts and self-help books promise to relieve that hurt.
It's a little soothing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a little high.
Yeah.
I mean, critics of the self-help movement say that. It's like, oh, you pick that up and yeah, it'll make you feel...
You're getting the rush.
Yeah, it'll make you feel good for a bit.
For right now. And
Who
then you're going to put it
knows?
down.
Who knows if you're going to do a fucking thing.
Yeah, you're not going to
that
do shit
book
with it.
But didn't it feel good?
Ooh, yeah.
Actually, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and she calls it shelf help books.
Oh, nice.
Because they sit on your shelf.
Yes.
You know, let's talk bibliotherapy.
Yeah.
But she just likes to look at them.
Okay.
On her shelf help books.
I am that person. So I may not read self-help, but I am into shelf help because my bed is in this little loft area.
Yes.
And I am surrounded by books. All of my books are like, they're on a shelf behind me all the way up to the ceiling.
Okay.
They're in front of me, stacked on shelves. I wake up and go to sleep looking at books.
Yeah, maybe
not
just like
reading them.
Yeah, you just
But
like
I'm
look
looking.
over and see Deepak Chopra's face, and you're like,
Yeah, that's me, man.
he's got the answers if I'm interested.
Look, even if it's just there, it might be like hitting me through osmosis somehow, seeping out of the history of those books.
Bibliotherapy.
That's it.
Well,
That's it.
Aristotle.
Yeah, thanks, Aristotle.
Yeah, it's
Now,
alive and well, baby.
That's right. Well, Socrates was another who urged his fellow Athenians to pay attention to the upkeep of their own souls. Apparently, that's how we get the word psychotherapy. I don't know how that breaks down, but just like modern self-help, the message was that attaining happiness is an active endeavor.
Yes. And Mark Manson, who
Yes.
wrote Fuck It.
Yes, my fave.
What's the full title? I can't
The
remember
Subtle
now.
Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
There you
and
go.
Everything is Fucked.
Right.
A book about hope.
Right. And he was like, you know, we talk about deserving happiness. And he's like, no. It's really a lot of hard work and making choices.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you
it's
right now.
not something bestowed upon us.
I don't like, I know we don't use the word should, or we shouldn't use the word should.
Don't should yourself,
Whoops.
Anson.
And also deserving. I do not like or support that word. When people say to me, oh, you deserve to be so this, or you deserve, and I'm like, do I though? Like more than somebody else? Why do I?
It's interesting. You know, I talked about my mom in, you know, the beginning of the episode, and she taught me that years ago. This idea of deserving is totally ego-based.
Good for her.
Yeah. She's
How
like,
do I
that's
know
just
that?
small
I guess my left
ego-based
brain
thinking.
is shut down.
Yeah. It's like to deserve something.
It's never felt right when someone has said that to
yeah,
me.
calm down.
Or
Get
when
over
someone says,
yourself.
I deserve better. I'm like, do you? Why are you crying about it then? That's
mean,
not how someone who maybe deserves something should be behaving. So maybe you need to check in.
I think, you know, better is then your responsibility. It's
is.
not something that just gets, you know, handed to you like happiness. It doesn't just, no. That's a byproduct of our habits, our choices, right? Our priorities, whatever you want to call it. It is. It's a byproduct of ourselves.
I think if you say I deserve something, then you're the same person who's going to say something's unfair or life's unfair.
Yeah.
And okay, it's not. Life's not fair, perhaps. I mean, I guess as children, everybody's heard at some point their parents saying, well, life's not fair. But, you know, it only feels unfair if you think you deserve something or you're entitled to something.
There it is. It's a sense of entitlement.
Yeah,
Look at us. We're like the millennials. Right? We're just like, yeah, it's supposed to be fair. I deserve fairness.
Wah, baby want his bottle. Anyway. So then there's the Middle Ages. And I don't mean like
us in our 40s. No,
right. Like
okay.
forgetting why you walked in a room.
Yes.
I think that is a self-help book for the elderly. Anyway, in the early Middle Ages and the Renaissance, Mirror of Princes books told stories of kings whose behavior should either be imitated or avoided. They also included cautionary tales. And side note, King Henry VIII was a fan of these books with his 6 wives. I don't know. Some people.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Hey, all these concepts.
Well, and also that some of these
around
Mirror of Princes books were biographies
long
of
ago.
real people to illustrate good and bad ways of being. So when we talk about, people like, do they have a doctorate? Are they qualified to provide self-help? Like a mom blogger can become one of today's most popular self-help gurus, which really gets my goat.
You love those mom bloggers.
I you know what? It drives me crazy. I'm like, this is why I'm on your side with Brené Brown, because I'm like, yeah, she is a research-based psychologist. I don't know what, how she's decorated after her name. And
Professor.
I'm like, yeah, that I'm good with. But people just going, I had a cocaine habit and now you should do what I did. Problem.
Okay, so this is awkward because I've written 3 self-help books.
Right.
So,
but you didn't have a cocaine habit. You were just depressed.
That's right. We didn't do heroin. We just read a lot of books. And as you say, I just had so much self-help in me. I had to let it out. I respect that, you
man.
nail it sometimes. Not a lot, but sometimes. All right.
So some interesting quotes.
Okay.
At the time of the Stoics was from one of the last great Stoic thinkers, Marcus Aurelius.
Aurelius.
That's
sorry.
Okay. I'm phonetic, so when I read, I was reading his name right now. One of the quotes is, if thou art pained by an external thing, it is not this that disturbs thee, but thy own judgment about it. And it is in thy power to wipe out this judgment now.
Yep, there he is. He's just talking about the power of whatever, positive or negative thinking.
Yeah. And it's like, it's your perception of it. So the Stoics were just waxing on about the same stuff self-help preachers, self-help preaches today. Our emotions are shaped by our thoughts, our feelings by our opinions, and that we have free will and can change. And the key to a good life is to be virtuous and to think in harmony with nature.
Be at one with things. Well, I'm starting to get the feeling like everything that's been written since this has been kind of regurgitation,
Really?
Including my books. It's fine. Let's move on.
It kind of feels that way.
It's totally that way, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But, I also think there is merit in always delivering the messages for the next generation, right? Like,
yeah.
A lot of us aren't going to probably sit down and read.
Look, I even had trouble reading that quote. There were so many these and thys.
I know. I was breathing. I was breathing through it with you
first to warm myself up. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Yeah, we didn't do our. We didn't warm up properly.
We just
today.
jumped right in the self-help pool today.
But that's the thing. Like, for example, Marianne Williamson wrote A Return to Love. Okay, and that was a modern version of A Course in Miracles. Okay, so that was back in, I don't know what it was, the 60s that came out.
Are we jumping ahead?
I'm just like now relating to like this whole regurgitation thing. Maybe it's not really to be judged because it's like, okay, so Course in Miracles, and then Marianne Williamson talks about it in A Return to Love, and I'm like, oh, I understand this. And then Gabby Bernstein, kind of a mom blogger, with the cocaine and drinking problem, and then she wrote Spirit Junkie, which was an interpretation of A Return to Love or A Course in Miracles.
Everybody's just borrowing the stuff. But I mean, like, how many movies do you see and you're like, I've seen this one before, I know this plot.
True.
Like we do that. So I don't know if we can judge it, but it's good to observe it. It's good to say, look, guys, here's the history. And really, it's been around since the beginning of time, helping each other out, having ideas about how we live and how, to have your best life, to live your best life.
Fanson, that's very good. Very good reminder to observe.
Yeah.
Not to judge. There, Marcus Aurelius and you are.
Yeah. Well, if I could just get his name right. I know his name. You know why I know Gladiator.
You know why I know his name is because my brother is named Mark, and I called him Marcus Aurelius like my whole childhood. Yeah. I don't know why I picked a Greek philosopher, but I did.
That's
curious.
Like
I could have called him, I don't know, like
Marky Mark
and the Funky Bunch. But I called him Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty cool.
Right. Well, maybe you implanted something in him where he'll know looked
how
at
to
himself differently.
And he'll know how to say that name when he sees it on a page.
Right.
That's a gift.
That's a gift.
All right.
That I did not have.
I'll start calling you Marcus Aurelius.
Okay, so let's fast forward the needle. Okay. And acknowledge the 1600s and 1700s.
Well, let's.
Yeah. So like just bulk.
High
level bulk. Conduct books popular in Italy, England, and France. They were known as savoir-vivre books.
Oh, you said that one well.
I did.
Okay. Listen, that's redemption. I wouldn't have rocked that out like that.
That's
so
okay.
Conduct books.
Yeah. So like topics covered that they might have covered were, and these are actual titles: blowing the nose, cut hair round like a bowl dish, and beards of a frightful length. Advice for behavior and style for men. For men. So we may say that self-help originated from men.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the women were doing it quietly in the tent.
Well, I guess it's fair to say that even back in the 1600s, men needed a little help in terms of,
sure,
grooming.
It's nice that they were trying to help each other out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They hadn't yet learned about, there was a little bit of manscaping there.
I think so. I mean, we don't want beards of a frightful length, do we?
It sounds very civilized.
I find most beards are of a frightful length.
You're not into the beard.
No. What was that whole thing that occurred in the male culture recently? What's it called? The hipster?
Right.
Is that what we call them?
Sure,
Hipsters?
yeah.
Where they look like lumberjacks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of beards of a frightful length.
Right. How are you with the bush? I don't know why my mind goes there.
Fanson.
It's really
classy.
Weird.
Real classy.
I class it up every time. Come on.
Listen,
someone out there was thinking it.
I think there's a frightful length there too.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say that.
I think so.
Okay.
Whatever. So if men were the first self-helpers, I think that's pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So philosophers to the pioneers of self-help, that'd bring us right up to I don't know, the 1800s. What do you got?
1841, I think.
All right.
I think that's a big year.
Mm-hmm.
Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson was published.
Oh.
Yeah. Ralph.
Old Ralphie boy.
But I think, in our research, this one came up too as much, and that's 1859. And this was written by Samuel Smiles. Aw, he was destined.
Yeah.
So he was a Scottish author, Samuel Smiles, and he wrote the first self-help book appropriately titled Self-Help.
Oh, wow. That's imaginative.
Yeah.
It's right on the nose.
Yeah. Well, let's call it what it is.
That's the same year as Darwin's Origin of the Species.
Okay. Yeah.
And in his book, Self-Help, was the only book that didn't outsell the Bible. The Bible was the only book that didn't outsell self-help.
Let's think about that again. So
I know.
So the Bible was the only book that didn't. No, that. So self-help was pretty popular. You're saying?
No. I think the only book that self-help that Samuel Smiles wrote didn't outsell at that year when Origin of the Species also came out was the Bible.
Okay.
The Bible outsold it.
Okay, but that was the only one. So yes.
Only one.
So self-help, big deal.
So the Bible and self-help. And some would argue that the Bible is self-help. The commandments might be.
And so in the 1800s, we moved to the 1800s, people were, there was quite an appetite for advice on weight loss, parenting, marriage, time management, home management, etiquette, success, self-control, mind power, grief, self-medicine. Wow.
That's the gamut.
That is the gamut. So,
and also that it was understood that in layman's terms, that was all for the average Joe. Like, it wasn't that just the elite were talking about these things or that the very educated.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was expected to get it on all of these things. It was for everyone.
Huh.
There was one of the published articles at that time was, I had appendicitis and cured it myself.
Well, that's self-help.
Yeah.
I'm just going to DIY this one.
I know, right?
I'm just going to take care of my appendicitis. I want to read that article.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't read it. I just read about it. I just heard about it. I just looked it up, actually.
This is hilarious. Anyway. Okay, so 1917, silent film star Douglas Fairbanks wrote the first modern, what we would call, consider modern self-help book called Laugh and Live. Yeah, so Douglas shared the message that if you laugh, you will be happy, fit, successful, and a joy for your family and friends.
What are your books? One is like, you just gotta laugh.
It's called You Gotta Laugh.
Yeah, you gotta laugh.
Yeah. I mean, you don't gotta. It's just that everything will be
You
easier
should laugh.
if you do.
Imagine if you titled it, You Should Laugh.
Oh my goodness.
Faux pas.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I might be just very well regurgitating Douglas Fairbanks.
I think it's likely. But that's okay because these things need to be rebranded.
This is for my generation.
In 1913, G.K. Chesterton, have you ever heard of him?
No.
G.K. Chesterton, known as the Prince of Paradox, a writer, philosopher, lay theologian, and art critic.
Theologian? Did you say that? Okay. I
looked at you. And
it
I
was
like,
hanging. I know.
She's not even.
I know. I was looking at the screen.
Yeah. I was like,
it just
got
hung
that wrong.
there,
look
though.
Look at me.
I know.
I
hung there. Then I needed to rewind.
Do you know why?
Hear it in my head and go, oh dear, she botched.
I was still
one.
looking at my own writing of Philosopher. I wrote down Philosopher. And I was just stuck on that.
I see that pair of O's right now.
So anyway, he wrote against the popularity of self-help books. And I want to read to you what he said. Whoops, what did I just hit here?
What's a screed?
A screed is like a paper.
I have never heard of that word in my life.
Yeah? Oh.
I mean, obviously we're not saying, hey, can you pass that screed?
Yeah. Right. No, we don't. We don't say
that. When you say paper, you mean essay.
Yeah.
So I wrote wrote a screed. My screed is due on Monday.
Yeah.
Did I not? I did not say that in university.
No.
Nor did I hear anyone say it. So this is interesting vernacular we're learning today.
Right.
Thank you, Fanson.
So there was criticism even back then. So there's like self-help and those who said, it's gone too far.
He was the first fuck it.
So he's like our
Mark Manson.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's also someone who we would say was like an early influence on the criticism of self-help.
Yeah.
He said on every bookstall, in every magazine, you may find works telling people how to succeed. They're books showing men how to succeed in everything. They're written by men who cannot even succeed in writing books. To begin with, of course, there is no such thing as success. Or if you like to put it so, there is nothing that is not successful. That a thing is successful merely means that it is. A millionaire is successful in being a millionaire, and a donkey in being a donkey. I really think that the people who buy these books, if any people do buy them, in brackets, have a moral, if not legal right to ask for their money back.
Whoa.
Yeah. This guy's so underrated. G.K. Chesterton, I advise anyone to look him up. Underrated.
A skeptic.
Philosopher. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's how he felt about self-help.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so let's move on.
Okay.
All right, 1920. Emile Coué. I look to you now for the français.
I've never gotten so many words wrong.
So he wrote Self-Mastery Through Conscious Autosuggestion. Now, this is interesting. Uh-huh. This is like now, the first of, connecting, the scientific stuff and our, the brain and the thoughts and all that kind of stuff. So this book was based on the research he conducted about hypnosis.
Ooh.
So this book suggested repeating positive mantras. Positive mantras to yourself to positively impact your unconscious self.
If English is your second language, this may not be the podcast episode you want to listen to today.
You're not learning from the best.
You're certainly not.
Yeah, so in the 1920s, it was rather commonplace for self-help periodicals to blend the latest scientific discoveries about the nervous system with beliefs from the New Thought movement.
It was called the New Thought movement?
The New Thought movement. Huh. The belief that positive or negative thoughts bring positive or negative experiences.
That's so today. That's like everything is like...
This was
what you think about is what you're going to get.
What you focus on is what you attract.
I think that's what I just said.
Kind of the birth.
But you said it way better.
Well.
And you didn't say it like that.
you know, all these books sometimes pay off.
Yeah.
Not often.
I don't have all the lingo, man.
That's it. It's just that I got the lingo. Nothing else.
But I mean, it does make you sound knowledgeable.
So yeah, this is, I would say, the birth of this, idea, concept of law of attraction. And of course, it has been the mainstay and a popular topic in the self-help industry.
Talk to me about how the law of attraction has manifested in your life.
Or is it white privilege?
Right.
Isn't
that the answer to everything?
I mean, is it, that's just a concept now. It's like, did I manifest this or is it just white privilege?
Right. But I mean, if you believe in manifesting, and we have friends who do, and possibly you do also, I feel like I don't maybe do it. And I've questioned myself, like maybe am I not going to get what I want if I don't, ruminate on it? But maybe, but I do, I have ideas.
Yeah, I mean, so I learned from Wayne Dyer to, manifest, attract things in my life by living as if.
And has that worked?
I think to a degree it has,
What degree? To what degree?
Well, I mean, I do think I've been able to make a career doing what I love and making pretty good money at it, because I've always just kind of like just pretended I was a big deal. And so, it's like, yeah, I'm going to just like, I think put it out there, make it so,
Susan,
get that.
But Susan, put what out there?
Get that website
Tell me what the it
up
is.
and put on the show,
right?
And charge tickets,
right?
Even though, who am I, right?
Okay.
So I just trying to like, try to be a bigger deal than perhaps I really am. But in a way, I feel like the acting as if I'm, whatever, a big deal has just kind of helped me elevate, grow, my career or my business as whatever, comedian or speaker, like just kind of like trying to, I decided long ago that I was a keynoter before I really had any business being a keynoter.
Okay.
I decided.
I hear you. I
that kind of thing. I don't know.
But here's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
When I was asking, when you said like, I'm just going to put it out there, like, I think your tactic was, I'm going to come at this with confidence. I'm going to like, I'm going to treat it like this is something that's possible. Right. But when I say, what is it? And you're like the website, the shows, I'm like, okay, but all of that took doing, all of that took work.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying.
And dreams don't work unless I do. That's my philosophy. And you did the work. So did you manifest that? Did you? I don't know. I think you went, okay, I'm digging in. I don't know, but I'm going to make this happen. And how do I make it happen? I do the work.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of like putting the cart before the horse, kind of thing. Like,
which always seems a little backwards to me.
Right. Well, that's it. It's like, but that's the idea. It's like,
where's that cart going?
I'm going to just like set it up to look like a big deal and then do the work to then be, I don't know, to then deliver something that might
into it.
Be delivered by a big deal.
Right. So do you think that's why people on Facebook and Instagram are posting all these like amazing things? And it's like, are you real? But are you doing it? And it's the same thing with, a segue to self-help again, like read the books. Great. You can look at them on your shelf, but are you doing it? And what I'm saying about your experience with making your career or having the career that you're building or that you are some successful in actually, came from doing. That's all I'm saying.
I do lie in my bed in the morning though and say, I am, world touring comedian and speaker.
Oh, okay.
I am a best-selling author. I am healthy, abundant.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do sometimes in the morning. If I kind of wake up earlier than I need to be, I'll lie there and just do
you're like, I got 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I do kind of like, I don't know, affirmations. Like,
okay. And
so I think I learned that from Mike Dooley, another kind of law of attraction guy. And it's like, yeah, I am. It's I am.
Yeah.
And then you, it's again, acting as if a bit like, yeah.
It's like Neil Diamond. I am, I said.
Yeah.
I am, said I.
Yeah.
And I'm still a hot mess.
Me too. I'd say, the New Thought movement and all that kind of stuff happened. That then brought in a slew of successful dudes who had a lot to say about success and making money. Okay. So when the Great Depression tore through the economies of the newly industrialized world, self-help books responded accordingly. Like steel tycoon and one of the wealthiest businessmen of the 19th century, Andrew Carnegie.
Oh.
Yeah, Andrew.
That guy.
He wrote many. And so did his contemporary, and Napoleon Hill, who wrote two very successful books. The Law of Success, published in 1928, and Think and Grow Rich, which was published in 1937. So yeah, this is just a lot of successful, wealthy dudes just like now telling people how to, be rich, successful. 1936, Dale Carnegie wrote his famous book, and you might, actually recognize
know this one?
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Did you read that one?
I've never read it.
I've never read it. I remember seeing it somewhere when I was like, I don't know, a teenager,
Right.
seeing it and going, wow, like you can learn how to do that. And it felt to me like it's so manipulative. Like people are reading a book about how to like influence people. And it bothered me.
It's an interesting title. I think it speaks to
that bothered me.
I think it speaks to the time. Like, I don't think you would really ever see that kind of language now on a self-help book. Like like I think now it's kind of perceived as a little schmaltzy.
Yeah. I guess
a little like ego based, whatever.
Now it's like boost your confidence. And this is just so like how to win friends. It's a little different in the way with the approach, I guess.
Yeah, I think it just really points to where we were at then.
But man, it's all about on the nose, and who didn't want to do that? And
success
was a highly successful book.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of a highly successful book, in 1952, Norman Vince Peale parlayed his radio show called The Art of Living into his very successful book, The Power of Positive Thinking.
Here we go again.
All right. So that takes us, we're going to fast forward now to the 1970s.
Okay. So basically we've covered all the way through up until now we're in the 50s, right? So we're jumping ahead. Like, cause what 60s was there anything specific in the 60s?
Well, I mean,
everyone was just getting high.
Yeah, we turned to drugs.
Yeah, it was just music and rock and roll. We didn't need any self-help. See, this is going to lean into a point that I'm going to make.
You're going to make it now? Or like Ellen's book, My Point, and I do have one.
If you're just getting high and listening to music, you don't need to worry about all that other stuff, man.
Yeah, that'll shut down the left hemisphere of your brain too. I mean that's the
there are ways.
The loveliness of
microdosing.
Yeah, you love your microdosing.
Only mezcal.
Yeah. And I just say you're doing shots. It's fine. Okay. So in the 70s, right, in the face of the Vietnam War, there was disco, ever-present possibility of a nuclear obliteration. Mm-hmm. Well, the 60s, so we can probably include the 60s here, and the 70s were prime time for the self-help industry. New age spiritual groups such as Scientology found their roots. Diet and exercise trends like jogging went mainstream.
People weren't jogging before the 1960s?
Not really. No.
Wow.
I think that was really introduced as this is exercise. I really don't think many people
get out there and run.
I don't think you could say that even gyms really were in existence.
I wonder when the first marathon was.
That's a good one.
That's so interesting.
Maybe you'll Google that right now. Who knows?
Jogging.
So we had jogging. Eastern rituals like yoga found a spotlight. And notable as well, in 1976, Dr. Wayne Dyer. What do they call him? Founding father of self-help or something. He's got some kind of some nickname.
That's what they call him?
Yeah, the father.
And why would they do that? And you're obviously, why. So,
well, I'm not sure if I exactly know why. I know that he's written so many books. Wayne Dyer, of course, you could say is, one of the first, really modern,
So he modernized
Self-help.
what? Because it's not all original. It's
Well, like for example,
Buddhism.
the Tao Te Ching.
Right.
He has a whole book that's an interpretation of that. I don't know. He's just kind of like a founding father of what would be considered like, really modern self-help. So his one book, Your Erroneous Zones.
Oh.
No.
No.
Erroneous. Erroneous.
It means wrong. Your wrong zones.
Your erroneous zones.
What you're getting
Fanson.
wrong, people. Like for us.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got.
Did you get it?
Yeah, we are. So dumb. Think about a marathon. Think about how.
Oh, that's back in ancient Greece.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, the first marathon commemorated the run of the soldier Phidippides from a battlefield near the town of Marathon, Greece.
Right.
Yeah, to Athens in 490 BC. Oh my God. Okay.
Still a hot mess.
Anyway.
Or still just, rather ignorant at times. It's fine.
I wonder when the first marathon was. What? Just 490 BC. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but they weren't jogging back then. That's one thing we can say for sure.
They were running.
Well, yeah, they were.
But jogging wasn't a pastime. It was
they
like
weren't,
you run from that lion.
Right.
That's the marathon. We're setting this lion loose. Go.
But they weren't just heading out for an hour or so,
It wasn't like leisure time.
Yeah.
Hey, how am I going to kill an hour?
In the Roman Empire, I'm going to just,
with my new Nikes. But that's where that symbol came from. Didn't one of those symbols come from, what's that?
Nike was
that god, that Egyptian, that Greek, that mythological.
Yeah, Nike was, I think, a
deities. Oh geez.
You're now gonna have to Google
I'm just
Nike.
Making stuff up over
but
here.
Wasn't Nike
yeah? See, I know some things, but I don't know the whole thing. Yeah, my brain only. It's like, oh, I got that. The rest is garbage. When am I ever gonna need it? And then
here we are on a podcast talking about Nike, but I do believe Nike was something to do with Greek mythology. Okay,
you betcha.
All right, so you're going to figure that out. Yeah. I'm going to bring us back now, or bring us to the 80s.
Oh,
the ladies of the 80s. All right, the 80s brought along Stephen Covey. We all know Stephen Covey.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people have heard of or read his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Wow.
I've never read that one either. I really haven't read the older ones. I really haven't.
Right.
I think
when did you come on board?
I would say I have read books that were written in the 90s.
Okay.
But mostly I would say 2000s.
Yeah, like your generation, which is why we need to keep
regurgitating,
rebranding this stuff because, we'll get to that as we go
Did you
along.
find out about Nike?
I know. You can see it in my eyes. I'm distracted. Nike was the goddess of victory in Greek mythology.
A goddess.
Depicted as having wings, hence her alternative name, Winged Goddess.
Yeah.
She was the daughter of the Titan Pallas and the goddess Styx, sister of Kratos and Baia and Zelus.
Okay, that should do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I never want to do this ever again where I have to pronounce things properly.
Okay, so the 80s also featured the likes of, I love to say his name, Paulo Coelho. Okay, so he wrote The Alchemist. I have read The Alchemist, which I loved.
Yes, I have too.
Louise Hay. Louise Hay, she was a big one in terms of affirmations and positive thinking and law of attraction. Anyway, she wrote the famous book, You Can Heal Your Life. You can, Vanson. You can.
And how do
Just
you do
so you
that?
know,
How
you
do you
can.
Did you read it?
No.
Okay.
And also another famous title, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Right,
that was written by
courage.
Susan Jeffers.
Okay, Susan.
I don't know, Susan. I mean, I know Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, but I don't know if she was a one-hit wonder or what. But you might want to Google Susan Jeffers
I'll
now.
tell you this,
I don't know who she is.
When it comes to feeling the fear and doing it anyway, so I think that I can do that. I can be like, oh, this is scary, and I do it.
Yeah, I think courage is
courage.
Realistic. Fearlessness is
balls.
not.
Right.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that. Be fearless.
Oh, yeah. People would call me Fearless Fanson, and I'd be like, no, I'm not.
No,
man.
it's
at
about
all.
shitting your pants or almost shitting your pants.
Yeah.
And then doing it anyway.
And doing it. Yeah. And I have also found, looking back, that there were things I did.
Not to say you've ever shat your pants.
No, let's not to say that. Let's not to say. Anyway, does everyone have a shit yourself story? I want to hear it. Who hasn't shit themselves? Or better yet, just tell me the story. I just want to know. I'm sure it's epic. You don't shit yourself and forget about it.
No, you don't. That's true. You're never going to just be like, oh, hold on. Let me think.
Yeah.
No, you know.
You know.
You know.
So anyway,
we'll move on from that.
But I have found that as I've matured, as I've, gained experience over a lifetime, and probably worked through enough of that fear or done, leaned into that fear, that now I look back and I'm like, I could have done even more. And now I can do even more. Like, I think there were things that I was fearful of that I didn't do. Like when I'm really honest with myself, how it's like, you can kind of tell yourself a story. Like, no, I lean into the fear and whatever, but like, where do you not? Mm-hmm. And I've looked at stuff and gone, oh, okay, I could have chosen that. I went the safety route.
Right. You felt the fear and then ran.
Yeah, it's almost like I chose the fear that I was okay with.
Screaming.
Like in a way, like that fear I can handle. That fear, don't think so.
Yeah, sometimes I just get very frustrated when I, read something or hear something about being fearless. It's like, that's like, removing a massive part of the human experience.
Well, that's like Alex Hanold or whatever his name is, that free solo climber. He they researched his brain because they were like, something's wrong here.
Right. Well, then there's the idea of being a psychopath, but
he's not a psychopath.
But yeah, it's like asking someone to get rid of anger or joy or anything, any other emotion.
We shouldn't be getting rid of anything. We should just be accepting it, understanding it, and managing it.
Exactly. It is just to be managed. You can't rid yourself of fear. You just go, okay, wow, this scares.
Obviously, we like fear because we go to haunted houses.
Yeah. Then there's the idea of then
they wouldn't exist.
Then we like it.
We like to get a little woo. Watch horror films.
I don't at all. I mean,
okay, so that's not a fear you choose.
That's true. I just so
you can choose your fear. It's a choose your fear experience.
But it's courage, not fearlessness.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this scares the hell out of me, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to face it. And
sure.
Yeah. I mean, every time you go on stage or anything like that, it's like, yep, I'm scared.
Camera's rolling.
Yep. And then you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everything.
It usually works out.
Fine. You do it anyway, and it's fine. All right. So we go to the 90s.
Oh, okay. This is where you enter with your first encounter with these kind of books.
Oh yeah. Now, I mean, I haven't read all of them from the 90s, but I've read a lot of, Deepak Chopra, who was, really, that's when he came into popularity. Marianne Williamson. And I have actually read this one. Richard Carlson wrote that, book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And it's all small stuff. I actually read that. It was kind of like, I don't know. Again, it's a real sign of the times. Kind of, I don't know. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but it's like a little bit basic.
Oh, go for it. Come on.
Yeah, it was a bit basic.
We all love it. It was basic.
I guess in compared to the works that I was reading along with it, I was like, a little basic. But I bet you it was profound for the time.
Like what? So what was? Give me
I know.
An example.
I wish I had a real.
It's like don't cry over spilt milk. That's what we're talking about. Like, look, if you're gonna make a big deal about a little thing, you're not gonna have any energy for like the real stuff of life, right?
Yeah, and I think they were profound messages for the time. But it's like, it's
a good reminder.
Oh, definitely a good reminder. I just found it.
Basic.
Basic. Sorry. No.
It's all right.
I'm gonna get a tweet. Richard Carlson. I don't know even if he's around. I don't know.
Oprah. I think
That's
you're allowed
true.
to say that book was a little basic.
But I bet you it was.
And I don't diss Oprah.
Pretty cool for the time.
Oprah-ness. If you haven't heard me say it before, it's not Oprah that I have a problem with. Mm-hmm. It's the Oprah-ness of it all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yep.
That's all. I'm entitled to my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be coming up on that. Let's go.
The 90s also, a big book of that decade was Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, written by relationship counselor John Gray. Have you read that?
No.
Maybe
that's part of the problem.
The 90s also brought us Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen's Chicken Soup for the Soul. I've never read any of those.
Me neither.
Yeah. But anyway,
they were the most
huge,
popular ones.
Huge.
Yeah.
So these were like motivational speakers.
Yep.
And then they heard stories from their audience members, and then they put those stories in a book, and then infused it with their wisdom. And
I see.
that's how
I get what they were doing.
Yeah. All right. So someone else who rose to fame in the 1990s with her weightless infomercials. Weightless? Is that right? Weightless? I don't think that works.
I don't think that's it at all.
With her...
Was she doing weightless exercise? Like swimming is weightless.
Well, it was like weight... I think I meant to type weight loss.
Okay.
That's definitely what should be there right now. Sorry to should myself, but
That's
should
fine.
say weight loss.
That's autocorrect. That's not you.
Weight loss infomercials and famous catchphrase, stop the insanity.
Wow. And what was she referring to about the insanity? All the diets, all the fads?
Okay, so first of all, the she is Susan Powter.
Right.
Motivational speaker, nutritionist, personal trainer, and author Susan Powter. And I think she was just like, again, it was such a sign of the times. She was just basically just being like, fucking stop eating so much and do a sit up for God's sakes, right? Like, I just don't think she was very touchy-feely.
Okay.
I think she was a little bit like...
I think it was a little tough love.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, because Weight Watchers came out in the 70s, didn't it? I don't know.
Oh,
there
Google
I go
that.
again. I'm just like...
No, that would be interesting. Google that.
When did to my head?
When did Weight Watchers start?
I say it.
Anyway, there was a little bit of that. Yeah, like snap out of it. Kind of, there was a little bit of share for you.
Right.
Snap out of it. How did that go? Anyway.
Can you do the hair flip when you do that?
Yes. Snap out of it. Anyway, we really need cameras in here.
Not be doing share. Sorry about that, share.
What was that?
Yours was not bad.
What was that movie? What was it? Snap out of it? Moonstruck. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Susan Powter, she was intense. That's all I can say.
Well, and I like that she was saying like enough of all of it.
Yeah.
Like here's all you have to do is like move.
Yeah, move and
I know
eat
that's
healthier.
Still self-help. It's
just interesting that I don't know if she would be. I don't want to say relevant. But I don't think her vibe or her style, her approach would do well now. I don't know, right?
I don't know.
I mean, now
up. I think
I don't know.
Every style works now. It's just there's so many people listening. It's like you're not necessarily going to appeal to everyone, but there are people who.
It would be pretty funny to
brand.
Watch some of her like footage, her infomercials on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think she was angry.
She was
angry.
She was fed up.
Yeah, she was frustrated and angry with the American.
The message, and that's how it was supposed to impact people. Like wake up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did Weight Watchers start?
Weight Watchers, I think it founded in 1963.
Okay. Yeah.
By New York City homemaker Jean. Here we go again. Niditch, I believe.
Nobody really is going to know what is there. That's fine.
It's Niditch.
Yeah. Or just make up a different last name for her. It's fine. No, but nobody knows. Nobody's fact checking this one.
They're not.
Nobody
well,
knows.
Might be. There's still people who are using Weight Watchers.
But they probably don't know who founded Weight Watchers. Let's be honest.
Well,
so
let's give credit where credit's due.
Well, let's. I'm just saying, go easy on yourself, Fanson. How is that self-loathing today, by the way? It's fine. We're at about
scale of 1 to 10.
Like I think we're both at about 5. A 5? I don't know. What do you think?
I woke up at a 7.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm about a 6. 5.5.
We'll get there. Okay. All right. Let's move on. We're moving on through the 90s. Yeah. Okay. Now here we go. One of the biggest turning points in the history of self-help happened in the 90s when Oprah Winfrey.
That was the drum roll.
Hold on. Let me do it. Oprah Winfrey completely rebranded her talk show. Oprah moved away from shock TV, right? That many of her contemporaries were doing, to basically helping people live their best lives. She went from talking to white supremacists and teen moms to talking to self-help authors such as Dr. Phil and Gary Zukav.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so thanks to Oprah, the self-improvement movement entered the mainstream.
Well, after thousands of years, it was about time.
Somebody had to do
Somebody
it.
had to do it. But seriously, did we need it mainstreamed? Like,
I don't
isn't
think-
that what's taken it too far? I appreciate the book club and I appreciate the aha moments, but stats say we're not getting any happier. This shit is mainstream.
Yeah, I think she was just trying to, I don't know, just
Oh, look, I'm not
reach
talking about best
reach a
intentions
demographic
here.
that maybe wasn't,
Tapped.
Yeah, like
Woke.
I think that's it. That's it. She wanted more woke.
Oprah got us woke.
She is so woke.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. It's just if you mainstream it, and here we are with the podcast talking about has it gone too far? Maybe she launched the too far movement.
You're blaming Oprah again.
I might be blaming Oprah.
Well, I think I think you're right in saying that it it gained serious steam because of Oprah, and well, now we're
And
just
where credit's due.
Yeah, but we are also now so immersed in it and bombarded by it. But anyway,
I wonder how much, hey, listeners, how much of your time, if you were to add it up, have you given over to the reading of self-help books?
or even like just engaging in personal growth.
I believe
Like,
in personal growth. I'm just wondering about the books.
self-help. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Oh
curious
my
about
God.
that. Like not therapy, but just like reading
Yeah.
the books.
Yeah,
And
just consuming.
again, I'm not saying don't read a book. I'm
Yeah.
just saying like how much time
Fanson,
have-
I have given like hundreds of hours of
but
my
it's
time.
paid off
Yeah.
because you've written your books.
Well, see, this is the thing. I feel like
You're
I'm
sitting-
contributing to.
Here you are, an expert on a podcast. You're an expert. Come on.
Well, I'm a junkie. Let's just
Who do we go
call
to
it
for the
that.
quotes? Not
I
me.
know, I
Not
know.
me.
All right, so we bring it to the turn of the century. That sounded weird. The millennium.
That's weird.
The turn of the century.
I don't know.
I mean, it was, but we don't
you
refer
and I have
to
been on a big sweep through time here, so we've changed wardrobe for every generation we've talked about.
You should see the outfits.
I'm exhausted.
It's a mess in here. So year 2000, the millennium. All right. So the past 20 years has featured the likes of, Eckhart Tolle, Martha Beck, Gabby Bernstein, Brene Brown. Okay. And that's just like
That's
few
just some.
of
That's
so
just not- that's-
many self-help authors over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Probably like in the last 10 years, we could say exponentially.
It just keeps
has risen. I mean,
increasing.
right? I've
Yeah.
written 3 in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So
Anybody can do it.
I feel kind of like I'm contributing
You
to
are. It's good for you to be that self-aware. You're another book on the shelf. By the way, I left your book in Japan at the hotel on the bookshelf. So you're helping.
I'm an
in Japan.
international
You're an
author
international
now.
Author.
And we also have to point out that TED Talks.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's been around
the
a
TED
while.
conferences, and then of course the TED Talks that have been featured online. I mean, that also was a turning point.
Are TED Talks self-help? I don't know.
They didn't originate. It was you might have to Google again because it's entertainment. Shoot.
Like is self-help just such a big business that it's
TED
now
stands for-
entered into the TED Talks realm?
TED stands for technology and design. The E is right now technology.
am I?
Are you Googling?
Am I supposed to know this?
I'm just saying it didn't start off motivational, really.
Right.
It was, it
It
was
was all innovation and stuff. Wasn't
exactly. Anyway, that's that. But it has definitely evolved to incorporate
Technology, entertainment, and
it is.
design converged.
Okay, entertainment. Okay.
Yeah, but today it covers almost all topics, from
But now-
science to business to global issues.
Yeah.
in more than 100 languages.
Yeah, and
way to
it's-
go, Ted.
Like my buddy. Well, we're not friends, but I'll just say my buddy.
Okay,
I mean, we've met. Neil
Whoa.
Pasricha.
all right.
Right? The author of
Lies.
We've Met.
You've met,
And we might have him on the show.
and then you can call him your
And
friend.
then we can
because
say,
he'll be a friend
hey,
of the
there's
show.
There's our buddy Neil.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wrote the Book of Awesome,
awesome.
The Happiness Equation, and
We can't wait to talk to Neil.
and the new book, You Are Awesome. Right. So he wrote this blog and book called the Book of Awesome. And then he gets the TED Talk where he then,
right.
Basically took his blog and book. No, the book came after the TED Talk. Anyway, he took his blog and made it into a TED Talk. Kaboom.
Right.
Right. So now this is a big thing. Brene Brown did a TED Talk.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
That was huge.
Jill Bolte Taylor.
I think is the one on vulnerability that Brene did. Is that one of the most widely watched?
Oh, yes.
TED Talks?
She is one of the most watched TED Talks of all time.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought even that one broke some sort of record.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anyone write the book, You're an Asshole?
This is the one for you.
That's the one.
You do have a book in you.
Oh.
And we think about...
Oh, my.
So, I mean, we both researched a lot for this episode, and I was just, dumbfounded when I, stumbled upon the statistic that in 2016, the U.S. self-help industry was worth about $9.9 billion. Market researchers predict that the industry will be worth $13 billion by 2022.
Predicted the industry would be worth $13 billion by 2022. It's already there. It's already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's ahead of schedule. Which is apropos for self-help.
Yeah. They're
killing
right.
It. Yeah. You're awesome, self-help.
You are awesome, Fanson. Well, so it's been around for thousands of years.
Thousands of years. So there you go.
That's interesting. Hey,
Yeah.
that like something that, I think if you quickly think about it, it's like, yeah, I think it started around the 70s.
No. The beginning of time. Self-help gurus and life coaches have preached the idea that humans can always improve, and then they've sold the keys to success to those who felt inadequate, as well as those who want to be exceptional.
Yeah. Maybe those who feel inadequate also want to be exceptional.
I think it's probably true. I think the more inadequate you feel, the more you wish you didn't.
But, if self-help has always, meant to, be all about self-improvement, then maybe really, I think the best focus now would be for self-help, right? It should mean self-acceptance.
You just shed yourself.
Damn it. I did.
But self-acceptance, that's where it is now.
Well, that's, I think, the basis of Brene Brown. Mm-hmm. And I think there are other voices right now saying, okay, you know what? Can we just love ourselves and then take it from there? But anyway, I think that
Let's not get started on love. We've done that episode.
Yeah, we sure have. So
a button on your lip. Do you know that expression?
No.
So a button on your lip.
No.
It's an old expression.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So, where are we now?
Well, we're, the interesting changes to note. First, if you don't believe in self-help or the self-help industry, if you don't believe in self-help.
Yeah, which, I don't think you do very much.
I do.
A little bit.
I have a problem with the saturation.
Okay.
I have a problem with who's writing them.
Yeah, well.
And the plethora of tombs.
Yeah,
No,
so, okay. All right. So we'll just so for someone like you who might, not love self-help, now the self-help industry actually has a solution for someone like you.
Oh, what? Like invite some friends over, talk politics, call my mom, play with my kids, have sex, learn an instrument?
No, Fanson.
Oh,
no.
Not those things?
There's just books about it.
Oh, more books.
Anti-self-help books. Yes,
Genius.
Fanson. You can read about it.
I can read how to not read about self-help.
You can read about what to do when you're not loving self-help. When you're not vibing, when you're not, you're not loving the messages.
Man, have they covered everything?
When they're not resonating with you.
Here's what you do when you need some self-help. Here's what you do when you don't need self-help. You just read another book about it.
So this is a self-help genre designed for people who dislike self-help, which when you think about it, contains about as much logic as making a tequila shot to stay sober. Making a tequila shot. Wow, making one. I'm going to make one and then I'm going to take it.
Right. Well, maybe we all just need a big shot of logic.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's fair to say. So the anti-self-help movement remains skeptical of self-help. Thus, the majority of its writers suggest an alternative approach to its traditional methods, including, well, I don't know, be okay with things being shitty. Accept you'll always be mediocre. And simply just stop giving a fuck.
Wow, you make that sound like a bad thing.
No, actually, you know what? I dig this anti-self-help movement.
I do too.
I do. I think it's...
I think books like Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck and Everything is Fucked, written admittedly by him to be self-help books for millennials.
Yes. Yep. He has stated that this is, again, just, you know,
it's like anti-self-help, but
now
it's
a
still
new generation
self-help
needs.
Yeah, he's just a new voice for a generation.
Yes,
and I think it's accurate to say they actually are anti-self-help because they're not lists of how-tos or here's how I overcame my cocaine addiction or my marital affair. Just hey, not everything in life is going to feel great, and that's okay. And dreams don't work unless you do. So be prepared to get your hands on the wheel and get dirty and get on with things and stop dwelling and whining and live.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Though.
Well, it's a little Susan Powder.
Yeah.
You stop the insanity.
Stop the insanity.
Yeah. So I think that is a big change now when you look at the current state of self-help, that there's this anti-self-help movement. Now, I think the second change is that you don't really need to have any credentials to be, you know, a self-help guru, an author, whatever, speaker. Back in the day, you know, these, you know, thought leaders, these authors were academics, business tycoons, psychologists. But now all you need is an opinion and a website.
That's it.
That's all.
Just
you know?
start your blog.
Right? I mean, like, again, I don't know. Like, we can judge it. We can observe it. Yeah. We can observe it.
Much better. Much better.
I mean,
we can be curious.
I mean, we can say, oh, who the hell is she, you know, to write that book or like, you know, go on tour and do all those conferences or whatever.
Are you just talking about yourself right now?
Yeah, okay, I was projecting a little bit. But then there's also the idea of like, well, maybe we are all experts based on our experience, the journey, you know, the falling down and getting back up. I don't know. So, I mean, we got the Gabby Bernstein. She was like, you know, on drugs and addicted to alcohol and, you know, hit rock bottom. And now, you know, she's a big deal.
I think,
you know,
this
she's
whole
a spiritual guru.
Share, therefore I am.
Yep,
it
that's
used to be
where we're
I think,
at.
therefore I am. Now it's I share, therefore I am. And if I share, then I think you become powerful in your sharing.
Yeah, it's just a really interesting trend, right?
Connect with people.
We got Chris Carr, who was diagnosed with cancer years ago and now is a big health guru, as she is naturally battling cancer. Glennon Doyle, right? So she's all about... what's Glennon Doyle's thing? I mean, just again, more self-love, self-acceptance, being yourself. I don't know, all that kind of good stuff. She's mommy blogger.
We've got the guru episode.
Yeah, Jen Sincero, you know, she's all about manifestation. Rachel Hollis, there's a mommy blogger too, right? Like, yeah. I don't know exactly what she's going on about, but
something.
She's got a book called Girl Wash Your Face, and she's rich and famous.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
And I do have questions about what makes a motivational speaker successful. Is it just that they're famous, they're rich now? Like, I don't know. But anyway,
it's
the third change.
Branding too. Anyway.
The third change is that the movement is so mainstream now. Anybody and everybody is on the bandwagon. My neighbor is a life coach. My brother is a life coach. My aunt is a responsibility expert.
Like, I mean, honestly, I do know a lot of life coaches.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you can just take a course and you're a life coach. And honestly, a lot of those people are a hot mess, man.
Well, heal or heal thyself.
That's right.
I mean, you want to talk about therapists for a second?
Yeah.
There's a reason.
You don't want to get into the mind of a therapist.
You're a reason.
Right.
You're a reason, did I say? You're a reason.
And I was like, right.
Oh, we're getting tired.
But
that's okay.
So people are like sharing quotes and motivational videos and... like,
yeah, there's just a lot of like, I would say, and wouldn't you agree, that's a lot of like women with their small business, they're owning their small business or they're a life coach, and then they shoot videos on their phone and they just start going on about, you know, self-care and love yourself. And I had a life coach the other day talking to me, you know, on Facebook or on Instagram about, you know, like how you don't snack, like how she doesn't snack a lot because she's an entrepreneur and
That's
she works
exactly
from home.
what I tell people.
So she said,
I
yeah.
always say, just watch your snacks, eat your meals, watch your snacks.
She was talking about drinking
That's
water.
Weight Watchers, man. That's from way back.
She was
That
talking about
count your food. And then you'll become aware of it.
Drink lots of coffee and water. She was talking about doing an activity instead of eating. And of course, meal prepping.
Or like
snack prepping.
Logic, common sense. Honestly, do
fruits
we have
and veggies,
why does it
Fanson.
make
Fruits
me-
and veggies. She was going on about this.
It's
and I'm
2020. How do we not know this shit yet?
But it's interesting that she's even telling me she's not a nutritionist. She's a fucking life coach.
Yeah.
But going on about not eating too much when you own your own business and, you know, at home all day to not get fat doing it. I'd like to say that I think it's a fucking miracle that I don't drink all day.
Oh, come on. You do.
I don't actually. And this is interesting.
I know you don't.
That I don't. I actually
It's
like,
funny though.
I sit at home all
very
day.
funny if you were just like wasted all the time.
So I'm home all day and I don't touch alcohol.
Yeah.
This is good.
That is good.
I don't shoot videos about it.
Right.
Maybe I should because it is
Leave
quite
that to the drunk mom.
so outstanding. But yeah, like, I mean, I drink my lemon water, Fancy. Here I am.
You have it with you. Like
Anyway,
it's your
I just think it's
firstborn.
interesting. That's like, we are in the age of now helping each other with our
Because everybody's
videos
an
and
expert. Everybody knows something about something. We've all been inundated with all of this stuff for our entire lives.
Have you ever
all the
followed
books-
someone who's like on some
Well,
kind
just
of
stop
like?
there.
Have you ever followed
I have a
someone?
restraining order about that, so we can't talk about
But
it.
you know, like people who are like on a weight loss program,
Yes.
or like they're, you know, getting all healthy and
Yeah.
all the posts, you know, with their gym selfies.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that, you know, before and after photos and their meal prepping photos and videos. Like it's a lot.
You know what? It is a lot. Here's
amazing, though.
Here's what I really
I don't
get from some of that stuff, and not all of it, but and I don't know if I have an opinion about it. It may come out as I speak, but when I see that stuff posted, and it's like, this is what I'm doing, like this, I'm doing this, you know, to be healthier and whatever, and then it goes into like inspirational stuff. Like, I want to do this because I want people to see the process and what it's like and how to make your life better. And I question sometimes the sincerity of that. I'd like to think that we do these things for ourselves, and that in fact, when you make those changes, you want to share it with others because you do want to improve other people's lives because you feel so good. You want to spread that. And if that's true, if that's who we are, that's okay by me.
Do you think it's actually like a form of accountability? Like if I keep posting, you know, the before and after photos and of my meals and
Then
all
I
that.
got to get my ass out of bed.
I wonder if people are actually doing it just to help them stay on track. I also think they're showing off a bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're entitled.
I'm going to say it.
Entitled. I mean, why not? Right? Like, look,
You deserve it.
You deserve it, girl. Like, if you're making an effort to better yourself, and it keeps you on track to share it, and you feel, I mean, then okay. Like, I personally, I'm the other way. I find that if I talk about stuff that I'm doing, and if I post about like I'm talking about the intimate stuff, like maybe losing weight or things like that. To me is like a little more just me getting my act in gear. That's just me with me. But
I'm fascinated by like women at the gym will set up their, you know, their phone to and record a video of them. Yeah. You know, doing stuff. I remember when we used to just go to the gym.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's amazing. I don't know. I'm just, and then of course, speaking of the gym, all the like motivational and inspirational gym tank tops that you see. Oh, I don't know if you see them. Honestly,
spiritual gangsta, baby.
That was the beginning.
We've all worn one of those at one time.
Sure, my God. I bought so many when it first came out.
Oh, I
like
hate myself.
I still have tank tops.
Why did I do it?
I still have tank tops and t-shirts that, you know, say that like, find your wild. I have a tank top that says find your wild.
Did you find yours?
I have found it many times, Fancy.
I've seen you.
And
I've seen you out there in the wild.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's great. I'm so proud of you.
Not all who wander are lost. I have a tank top that says that.
Wow.
Follow your soul. It knows the way. I have a tank top that says that.
How do you follow your soul?
I have a t-shirt. I think you follow you follow your
not
heart.
physically. You don't see your soul up ahead of you.
It's not an out-of-body experience, no. And I have a T-shirt that says "Trust the Universe." I mean, but I see it all the time. Like,
do you wear those for you, or do you wear those so other people can be inspired by those sayings? Or are you like, look how cool I am because I trust the universe?
Spiritual
like,
AF.
Yeah, what are you saying when you wear those?
I don't know. I just think I just got excited that there was like this shit on things, on tank tops and T-shirts. I was just excited. I think I just kind of like, this is what I stand for.
Yeah.
This is what I believe. You might want to consider this. I don't know. It's funny though, hey, that we're like wearing things now.
There was
trying
a
to help
time.
each other by wearing things.
Yeah. There was a time.
Wow.
There was a time when it wasn't even polite to give each other advice, to give someone advice. It was like
unsolicited advice.
That's right.
That's what that's called.
If you've got something to say about it, just shut the hell up and let people experience their own life and learn what they need to learn from their own experiences. And if they ask for advice, maybe give it to them, but give it to them gently and know that they may not accept that advice the first time. And it often takes repeated experiences for someone to actually get it. Okay, so there was a time when advice
can we bring that back?
But then here we are now, and it's like, it's not even like, hey, I've got some advice for you. Now it's just preaching. There's so many people preaching that they know the answer.
Yeah.
And I find it distasteful. I find it uncomfortable. I find it actually, unfortunately for me, it kind of shuts me down. It makes me want to go in the opposite direction. As opposed to my having a voice, I feel like I'll make myself vomit. It's like, what right do I have? But then again, someone might say, what right do you have not to share your experience? Because people will learn from it. And when I teach, we go through the process and I have all of my students, they're doing it right there in front, showing their process. And my entire point is, guys, when you share your process, we learn something too. So, I mean, I don't want to be a hypocrite about it. Hypocrite about it? Did I say that?
You want to drink about it? What? A hypocrite about it. You don't want to be hypocritical
Susan,
about it.
And everybody knows by now, I get on a roll.
Oh.
And someone should just be saying, okay, gal, that's enough. Just shh.
We need a red light in here. We need a red light.
Yeah. Anyway, did you get my point?
I do.
Sure you do.
I know, but it can get sanctimonious.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, well, that's where we're at right now, I think.
Don't worry, be happy.
No, that was, very, very
simple.
90s? Did that song came out?
Probably.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so there's the history of self-help.
Yeah.
All, from the Roman Empire to now wearing fucking
spiritual gangster
t-shirts and tank top and going on about how not to snack at home. I don't know.
It's but here we are. It's saturated, and we are here to question: has the self-help movement gone too far?
And right now, as we have looked back at the last few years, perhaps it has. Well, now it's time to play that game.
Ooh,
Fanson, it's time to play that game.
What's it called?
That's sweeping the podcast nation. Name that guru. Yes, this is when we read 3 self-help quotes to each other and the other person tries to identify what self-help guru said it.
All right.
Okay, and I have to say mine has a theme.
Okay.
I've gone with like 80s.
Okay.
Like real old school stuff.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've gone...
What have you gone?
With... I can't tell you.
Okay,
because if I tell you, then it ruins the whole thing.
Sure.
Okay.
Very mysterious. Okay, this one. Hang with me.
Okay.
One of the mistakes many of us make is that we feel sorry for ourselves. I think you'll like this one. Mm-hmm. Or for others, thinking that life should be fair, or that someday it will be. Or that someday it will be. It's not, and it won't. When we make this mistake, we tend to spend a lot of time wallowing and or complaining about what's wrong with life. It's not fair, we complain, not realizing that perhaps it was never intended to be. I was talking about this book in the episode. Maybe I was actually kind of maybe dissing it a bit.
I mean, I want to say Mark Manson for some reason.
It's very Mark Manson.
Very Mark Manson,
yeah.
But it's not, is it?
Yeah, this is the one that I said was basic.
Oh, this was, let me get it. Let me just, this is just good for my old brain.
Or just say the title of the book, maybe. It was basic.
Oh, gosh.
Although I really like this.
I won't know his name, right?
Yeah, but
I can't even remember the name of the book. Oh my gosh.
That's okay.
We really are talking about the Middle Ages and why did I walk into this room? Okay, go.
Yeah, so it was Richard Carlson. Don't sweat the small
Wouldn't
stuff.
have got it.
Yeah, but I thought, that's actually, it's got relevancy again.
It just proves that
Yeah.
they're all the same. Okay, so here's one. The reasons angel can fly is because they take themselves lightly.
Yeah, I've heard this quote before. Yeah. Is this a real person? Like, I mean, not a real person, but like a guru?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have heard this quote before.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I have no idea who said it though.
G.K. Chesterton.
Oh, your new boyfriend.
My new boyfriend.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
The difference between winners and losers is that winners do things losers don't want to do. So 80s, eh?
It sounds like my ex-boyfriend.
Well, I mean, okay, so this guy is famous because of Oprah.
Dr. Phil?
You got it.
Wow.
You got it.
I feel like a big bell should be going off, fireworks and streamers and ticker tape for me. I got one. I feel like a Ghostbuster. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Tolerance is the virtue of the man without convictions.
I don't know, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
G.K. Chesterton.
Okay, I see where this is going. Although the next one's going to be Beyonce or something. But anyway. All right, here we go. You can be fat and love yourself. You can be fat and have a damn great personality. You can be fat and sew your own clothes.
Whoa.
But you can't be fat and healthy.
Whoa.
Yeah. Who do you think I'm quoting right now? We talked about her in the episode.
Oh, Susan Powder.
Stomp the insanity.
Come on. Yeah, I love it.
2 out of 3, Fanson.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very
big
excited
day
for
for
me.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
This stuff is rubbing off on me. Okay, here we go.
It's not going to be G.K. Chesterton, though. Or is it?
Ready?
Yes.
I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would you say I am?
Now is this Neil Diamond?
No. That's I am, I said.
Oh, right.
This is,
Okay,
I
it's a
am
lot of I
whatever
ams.
you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would you say I am?
I don't...
If I do it like
G.K.
this,
Chesterton?
I am whatever you say I am.
What is this, Kanye West?
No.
What? Who is this?
Eminem.
You're an asshole.
That's my book title.
Right. You're an expert.
Yep.
There you go.
We all have to have something.
Well, there is one more in the bag. I don't know, in the can.
It was a good one. It was a long one, and I'm sure there was a lot of stop and starts, but I'm really glad we did this.
Yes, and you're Kelly Fanson.
And you're Susan Stewart.
And
we're
still a hot mess.
You make a mess. You make a mess of me. You make a mess. You make a mess of me.
Welcome to our gratitude moment. Big thanks to Monkey Junk for their song, You Make a Mess. You can download their whole song anywhere you download music. Thanks to our sponsor, Purple Jade Wellness Center. And also thanks to the Pod Plant. This is where our voices go into these mics through the magical power of Mike Wixon and into your ears.
And are you a subscriber? Make sure you subscribe to our show so you don't miss out on any new episodes. And be sure to hang out with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at Still a Hot Mess and follow us on Instagram at Still a Hot Mess Podcast.
And thanks to you, Susan Stewart.
And thanks to you, Fanson.
You make a mess of me.